Just want to first start out by congratulating Coach Ram and women's volleyball. Winning an American Conference championship is really hard to do, and texted her yesterday and congratulated them. That was awesome to see. Getting that done yesterday. They've had a great run, and she's gotten that team a lot better in her 2 years here, and really proud of them. And then men's basketball, Coach Conkle had a big win, and so did Coach Nelp with women's basketball. So great weekend for TU Athletics. You know, it speaks to what Justin and his cabinet have been able to do, hiring quality people, giving them the resources they need to be successful. Both basketball teams are off to a terrific start, women's volleyball, and then we had a big win on the road at Army. Really proud of our team. You know, you look at the 3 games we had won prior to this one, we really were never behind in those games. We led Oklahoma State the entire day, we led Oregon State the entire day, and we led Abilene Christian from start to finish. So to be able to come from behind in the fourth quarter, down 2 scores at Army is really hard to do. The way they play puts a lot of pressure on you in all phases of the game because they make you beat them, and every play means a little bit more in those type of games. And to be honest with you, we made some critical mistakes that were catastrophic, like we've been doing all year, but we were able to overcome them. I think that's what I'm most proud of. You know, we had 2 fumbles in the red zone in the second half. When you're getting limited possessions, 2 lost fumbles kills you. You know, first play of the game, they throw a post over our head, which has happened quite often in our losses, and then they scored on the next play, so 2-play drive. And then we were highly penalized Saturday for really the first time all year. We've been top 25 in penalties, fewest penalties this season, and we had several penalties in that game. So a lot of mistakes, but able to overcome them on the road was a proud moment for our team. We found a way. We doubled them up in yards. You know, we had 497. They had around 260. So you look at the stats, you would think we'd won by more, but we continue to make mistakes. And to be able to come from behind and manage the game the way we did at the end, I can't say enough about Seth Morgan, Baylor Hayes, Don Richardson, our defense, Elijah Green with a big stop, Linto Smith with a big interception. We found a way, and I hope that moment resonates with our players for a long time. And we really need to focus this week on getting a 3-game winning streak going into the offseason, carrying momentum into recruiting, retainment, building for next season. You know, my focus and attention is 100% on UAB. I don't want to hear about Army this week with our team. That game happened. We can talk about that at a later date. We got Thanksgiving, which could be a distraction. We got no class this week, and we got Senior Day. All those things are side pieces to what we're actually trying to accomplish. And what we're trying to accomplish is have great execution this week, great focus on UAB, and give ourselves the best chance possible to win the football game. Questions?
How do you alter your schedule for Thanksgiving week?
Yeah, we'll practice in the mornings this week. Normally we're an afternoon, 3:30 start. We're going to start each day at 10:45. Be able to give the guys about 24 hours off on Thanksgiving Day. We'll practice in the morning, let them go for the afternoon, and bring them back after lunch on Friday. We'll go to the hotel and get ready to play. But, yeah, that's the biggest change, just moving practice time to mornings.
Thanksgiving is a holiday most associated with football. Do you have a favorite Thanksgiving football memory?
I guess when I was coaching, you know, FCS football, their season ended last week. It always ends the week before Thanksgiving. So playing those playoff games the week of Thanksgiving was always special because, you know, you had one of the best 24 teams in the country if you were practicing on Thanksgiving. And being able to do that twice at Gardner-Webb was pretty rewarding.
Do you have a comment on the Cincinnati Raiders game Saturday?
You know, not really. I can't imagine what Coach Mortenson's going through. I think he's handled it with class. He held a great press conference today. I think he's very mature. I think he's a great football coach. Him and Mark Ingram have led through this incident with class and integrity. And no, not really. Our focus is on us and able to execute at a high level on Saturday. I don't want to play any scenarios out of who's going to play for them, who's not, who's available. Like, our job is to focus on what we have on tape for the 11 games they've played, come up with a game plan that we can execute in our sleep, and go play our best game of the year.
How do you prepare for a team when you aren't sure who might play, aren't sure what the level of interest might be, et cetera? How do you
Yeah, you prepare as though they're going to play every player and their best players and their starters. And if it changes, it changes. But we're expecting them to be full bore, expecting them to be playing with passion and energy, and rallying behind an incident that they really couldn't control. So we're prepared to get their best effort, and that's what I'm going to tell our team this week. Anything else outside of that senior day, the stabbing, anything that they had, or any outside influences, we've got to block out and be able to execute and focus to win this last game.
How many people, seniors, are being honored?
You know, I don't know that for sure. Probably between 14 and 18. 19. Gotcha. Thank you, Robbie. And there's a few guys that are trying to get extra years with the JUCO rule and the 5 for 5, and a few of those guys won't walk. But 19 guys are exhausting eligibility and walking on senior day.
You have, I guess, 3 offensive linemen are listed on the injury report, 1 out for the year. Can you take me through what those issues are?
Give me names. Evan McClure had shoulder surgery. We elected to go ahead and do it now so we could get him back for spring practice. Who else? Herb hurt his knee in practice last week, late in the week on Thursday, and he'll be available this week. Cody Hornsby had a concussion. He'll be available this week. Booker, I doubt it. He's got a back injury. He got a epidural last week, and it hadn't seemed to get much better.
How many people are you planning to sign next week?
All our commits, so we'll probably sign between 4 and 5 on each side of the ball, looking at 10 to 14 high school players, and then we'll probably sign another 5 to 6 in the February signing period, and then hopefully add 10 to 12 transfers in the January portal period. But we got to retain what we have. I think we got a lot of good things going and good mojo going, and that hadn't changed. We're going to put a lot of focus into retaining our roster and continue to build it with young players.
What were the things specifically that you looked for in the guys that you are going to sign next week?
Yeah, I think, when you're recruiting high school players, you're looking for traits, first of all. Guys that have height, weight, foot speed, because they're developmental players. They don't have to play as freshmen, so they have the traits, and you can develop them into something. I think you're taking guys from winning programs, local programs. We're going to sign several of those type of guys that fit that mold, understand what a winning locker room looks like, and how to win when they get here. And then guys that love football. That's an underrated quality that's hard to find out until you get them on campus. But we really want to have as many guys in our locker room that love the game. And we certainly put a priority on that when we sign high school players.
I first want to congratulate you on the way you ran the corner into the locker room there at Army. You guys kind of like a 200-meter in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But then into the smooth crowd surf. I just want you to explain, is there a better word or better words than pure joy for that moment for you and your team?
Yeah, it's probably one of the best days of my life. It was awesome. And, you're looking there and you're looking in the crowd of cadets, and you're looking at the scoreboard, you're looking at the rushing yards and the score of the game, and it was surreal for about 5 minutes there, and then you enjoy it with the guys. You get on the plane, and then you kind of focus on the next one. So when you're the head coach, you don't get to enjoy them quite as long as maybe the players or the assistants, and you already start having stress and anxiety about the next one. So again, I told our guys this week, man, we don't want to talk about Army, we don't want to talk about Thanksgiving, we don't want to talk about our seniors. The best way to send those guys out is to focus and execute and play our absolute best football game in all 3 phases and end this thing the right way.
On that line, you talked about having a game that you had controversy come from behind you and win that game. What do those moments mean as you try to build that 3-game losing or winning streak going into the season?
Yeah, I think anytime you get it done on a Saturday, 1 point, 20 points, 30 points, it gives your team some confidence. And the more ways you can find ways to win games, the better your culture is, the better talent you have, the better coaching staff you have. You win a game 10-9, and then you win another one 42-41 late in the year, early in the year. Like that shows me a sign of a really well-coached team, being able to get it done in a variety of ways. And that was the first time we'd come from behind and won this year. So, that should give us a lot of confidence and make our guys feel good about what they accomplished.
What are some of the actionable things you can take from a 3-game winning streak as you head into the offseason, besides obviously the recruiting and the retainment? But what are some actionable things you can take?
Yeah, I think you said it. I mean, the recruiting is huge. To be able to to show progress, hit our over win total for the year, to be able to exceed expectations. And, we're certainly not where we want to be, but you can sell that to recruits and our current players. Like, guys, we're close. We're doing some really good things. And another off season, another developmental spring practice, another fall. We feel like we got a good quarterback for the future. I mean, there's a lot to like, and there's a lot of good young players on our team. A lot of freshmen made a lot of plays Saturday at wide receiver. Hudson Ball played terrific. Zach Williams is still a sophomore. There was a lot of good plays made by young players, and I think they see that. They see if we can win on the road at West Point, we could accomplish a lot of things, and I think it just gives us a lot of positive momentum.
Special teams.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times in the past where that hasn't necessarily been a positive around here, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of the evolution of even kicking from the NFL, like how money those guys are from distance now. How much of a weapon is it to have faith and know that Morgan, within a certain frame, is going to be able to knock that through, and what a weapon is that going to be?
If he'd have missed that 48-yard field goal, I'd look like the dumbest coach in the history of football. Because we had to have two scores down 11, and there was only 4 minutes and 20 seconds left. So my thought process was, if we get the first down, even if we get it on 4th and 2, it's going to take us another 30 to 45 seconds to score a touchdown. You got to have 11 points either way. So we went ahead and kicked it, called the timeout. That way we wouldn't burn another 20 seconds off the clock. Analytics did not tell me to do that. It was telling me to go for it. I shocked everybody on the headsets when I sent the kicking team out there. But to have faith in Seth, and he deserves a lot of credit. He had 2 huge kicks in that fourth quarter, under 4 minutes, and then you get the turnover, and then you don't get the 2-point conversion, you don't get the onside kick, and you still win the game. Was pretty remarkable. We did have a kick blocked early, which if that doesn't happen, you're up by 1 right there. And then we also made a dumb decision on a kick return where we waved for fair catch on a bounce and got the ball at the -2 yard line. So I'm going to be hard on the special teams this week. I think the kicker made up for a lot of things that we didn't do well. So we got to be better in protection, and we got to make better decisions at returner.
In finding a way to come back, you mentioned it's kind of a culture thing, but what are some of the things that are included in fighting through the adversity, turning it over in those instances? And you've said a number of times, at most points during the season, we're just not good enough to overcome mistakes like that. So have you seen kind of a tipping point where you can see in areas specifically where they've been better, where you can overcome things like that in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're up front. We're just playing really well on both sides. Anytime you're physical up front and being able to dominate the trenches, you're always going to have a chance to win the game. And I think the quarterback's helping, right? Like, people start believing in him, right? He hadn't had many turnovers lately. I don't think, he really has been making great decisions. He's got that it factor where, people just kind of flock to his skill set. And I think guys are enjoying playing with him. He's kind of winning over the locker room. But the biggest thing is just belief. I mean, now that you've seen that we can do it, and we had catastrophic errors in that game. Catastrophic. Blocked field goal, penalties, post thrown over our head by a triple option team, 2 fumbles in the red zone. Like, there was 4 or 5 things that you normally do not overcome. But you go look at the numbers, and you're like 497 yards to 260. Like, that's why I thought we were the better team that day. Like, even watching it from the sideline, I was like, man, we're better than them right now. Like, we're better, particularly in the second half. And I just thought if we could keep staying in it and stay alive and get it to 1 score, our guys would find a way to make some plays, and we finally did.
There's a lot of guys that have been mentioned, but saying what in the way that he played
Mm-hmm.
maybe one of his better games in total that we've seen.
Yeah, I think you look at some guys like him and T. Rich, Tyler Rich. When you play those triple option teams, you're playing some different guys, right? You want to play your toughest, most physical guys to stop the run. I mean, that's what you got to do. So you may take a DB out of the game, put an extra D lineman in at times. You may put Woody in at times when Devin's a better cover guy, but Woody's assignment sound and good tackler. And yeah, I think we evaluated that through the week, and we told them, like, if we get on that sideline and we look at that iPad and you're making a soft play, like not defeating a block or not playing with effort or playing soft, you're not going to play the rest of the game. And I just thought our defensive staff did a terrific job of making adjustments at halftime. They only held them to 3 points in that second half.
To win 3 and close it out, not that you guys don't have energy behind the scenes as a coaching staff, but what does that even do internally for you guys as a staff? Like, your foot goes out the door getting ready for
Yeah, it's just and winning is fun, right? It makes you feel good, makes you feel like what we're doing is working. And I've said since the beginning, we're going to double down on everything I believe in, and I'm going to stick to my guns. I think the coaches that make mistakes, they get into a job they're uncomfortable with, or it's different than what they've had, and they start just doing wild stuff, changing everything up. And I want to stick to what got us here. I want to stick to what I know wins. I want to stick to the plans that I know and the schemes I know and the schemes I can coach and the schemes we can recruit to. And we're going to continue to do that. And having some, I guess, some equity to back that up with 5 wins would be huge.
And talk a little bit about the wide receiver room looking a little different than it was at the start of the year, to say the least. But talk a bit about some of the young guys who step up and who's available this week and what it looks like going on in the season.
Yeah, I thought Steptoe played his greatest game. He was really solid. He made a huge 4th down catch, big catch late in the 4th quarter. Josh Smith had 2 big catches late in the 4th quarter. He's a freshman. Donnell continues to make plays. The first 3rd down of the game, he made a terrific catch. And Tempest did some good things. I know he had 1 drop on a 3rd down. But, you know, we're just going to continue to play those 4 or 5 guys that we can trust right now. And, you know, there's been some injuries there. There's been some misevaluations. The 3 that we started with are not the 3 that are really helping us the most now. And I think Coach Switz has done a great job adjusting. We've done a great job offensively adjusting, and we've got to continue to evaluate that position at a high level, because in my offense it's important that we get some speed and some touchdown scorers at that position. And you look at hadn't had a ton of touchdown scorers at wide receiver. We're 2nd in the nation in total plays. We've run 834 plays, 2nd in the country, and we've only scored 30 touchdowns. So I think our big emphasis this offseason is going to be red zone, alumni zone, touchdown scorers. How can we create more explosives? Because right now it just feels like we're just 10-play drives, you know, field goal, you know, and we got to be better there. So, yeah, we got to make sure we bring some dudes in that can play the position, and we got to retain those guys I just talked about. I mean, those young guys that are playing well. I think they have a great future. I think Steptoe, Smith, Tempest, Donnell, after being in the league for a year, I think all those guys are more than capable of being great players here.
What do you think about numbers, high school portal guys at that position? What would you want?
We'll probably take, if we can retain those 4 or 5, we really want to retain. With Tees in there, I think it's a good young player that has been injured and been inconsistent, but I don't believe in giving up on young players. So we still want to keep him. And if we can retain those 5 or 6 top guys, I foresee us going to get 4 high school players, which we'll sign in December. And then we're also going to probably bring in 2 to 3 transfers also. So, yeah, we got to create competition in that room. We got to have depth there. We got to have speed there. And we're going to try to address all those things in the next 2 months.
I think we stayed the course. We knew we were in a tough stretch of our schedule. We knew we had some games we had chances to win, and unfortunately we didn't. I think Coach Lamb preached culture and, you know, being the same guys all the time, and eventually success will come. And we've won now 2 back-to-back, and we hope to get our 3rd. I think we all feel pretty good, and we haven't really been negative in any sense. We've always had our head up high and know we're close to doing some really good things.
Yeah, to go along with what you said about the Monday through Friday, it was really like we wasn't making the same plays we would make throughout the week. But now, like, we starting to make them plays in the game, and it's starting to show. Like, it's starting to look different, feel different. The confidence level is different. So we go into the game just knowing that we can win that game.
So do you guys, any of you have any special Thanksgiving football memories?
Nah, I don't got no.
Not that I can remember, really. I mean, obviously every Thanksgiving with the family probably leads to like a yard football game or something like that. But other than that, no. No, sir.
So for, obviously, program building, winning on Saturday is important. What would winning on Saturday mean to you 2 guys and some other guys in the locker room?
I'll let you go first, Ray.
It's really just about finishing the right way. You know, having the season we had, starting out how we started, and then running off 3 straight the right way. Like, it really would be like a big culture change for us, especially how it was last year with that team, and then like how we trying to end it off this year, especially for the seniors too, is really a big deal for us.
Yeah, I think for the seniors mainly, sending them out on a high note, winning 3 straight. Obviously, those 5 games we played were pretty tough, and I hated seeing guys come into the locker room upset. And send them out on the right way would be huge, especially going into the off season when it comes to getting good guys and in the portal and recruiting, especially coming off 3 straight is really hot. Puts a nice little spark to our name,
You know, I mentioned to Coach Lamb how impressed I was with his crowd surfing, and you and Tina did the same thing. But when you stopped right there, you threw the helmet on first before you jumped into the crowd. Now, tell me what that moment was like and what that feeling was like as they were chanting, "We want Baylor."
Yeah, I mean, that was a great feeling. I love these guys, and that was just such a fun moment. I kind of heard it from down the hallway. I was yelling a little bit, and I knew once I turned that corner, it was going to be all mayhem. So I was like, I'm going to protect myself a little bit more, put the helmet on, go enjoy the time with my guys, you know. It was awesome.
Ray, you've been really quiet all year. You just go out and make plays and make 1,000 tackles a game. It seems like. How do you think your season has gone getting better week to week as a guy who came in and started so fast and hot, leading the country in tackles for a while?
I mean, I feel like I came in and did everything I said I was going to do. I put the work in all season, so the results were just results of how I prepared for it. So, yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Both of you seen much tape on UAB yet? Is its program kind of disheveled right now with all the things that have happened down there? If you have, what can you take from what you've seen so far?
I think as much as whatever's going on down there with the coaching change and all the stuff that's going on, I don't think that should be in our minds at all. I think that's a football team with guys who are going to come out ready to play, and I think that's the mindset we have to take is we have to be more prepared and want to play more than they do and really come out with a win. I think that's the most important thing.
What do you see in their offense rate?
I mean, you can't take them for granted at all. Like, they got some good players over there. I feel like kind of like us, like our record don't show like how good we actually are. So I think they got some good pieces over there. So we just got to play our A game and just come out and get the dub.
Yes, Coach. 3 wins in a row to end the season, going into the offseason. What are some of the actionable things you can take from that? How do you take that and move forward?
I think this gives us a boost going into the offseason. You know, we talked about all the hard work that we put in this past summer and the winter. It was kind of pushed into effect these last couple of games. I think finishing with another win this Saturday will kind of put proof in the pudding almost that the stuff we're going to do this offseason is going to lead to more and more success down the road.
Yeah, just going out on the right note, just what he said, just like that'll be something that I was just had a culture looking good going into that next season. It's like the way we was losing, it's like it's not like we weren't putting in the work. I'll be the first one to tell you, we was working hard. We was just couldn't get it done on them Saturdays. So to have these 3 straight wins is really just to show like, okay, the work finally starting to show.
Ray, you've played a ton of football already. And I'm doing this kind of a juxtaposition of the young guy in Baylor and where you're at now in your career. But when you think back to when you first started, where do you think your biggest areas of growth have come, and how much different and better of a football player are you now compared to when you first started?
I'll say like poise. Poise probably the number one thing. Just not being out there all jittery, just knowing when, okay, what I'm looking for, what I'm looking at, watching film, knowing what's going to come before it's come so I can play fast. And then just being a better tackler over the years, not just coming with just how many reps I done got from being somebody that played a lot since a freshman to now. So, and that just helped me just to get to where I'm at now.
Is that the biggest thing? It's just kind of getting the seat time and being able to learn in those moments and develop that poise. Is that the biggest obstacle that young players face?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is like you can watch as much film, X's and O's, but if you ain't getting no reps, like it's hard to really see it, feel it. Because I feel like football is such a game where you got to get a feel for it. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like young guys, that's the biggest thing, just getting that shot.
So what do you see in the guy that's sitting next to you from putting yourself back in his shoes and kind of where he's at in terms of age and the number of starts? Like, are you impressed with what you see so far, and do you think the sky's the limit for him?
I ain't gonna lie, Baylor been cold like that though. when he used to be on scout or whatever at ETSU, but I ain't gonna cap, he had threw this one pass so crazy, like some Aaron Rodgers pass, like we got cussed out and everything, like. And after that, they was like, all right, he not on scout no more. They took him off of scout. He started getting some reps with the first team. And then when I heard he was coming, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be straight. And then I mean, you already see what he's doing. It's starting to click for him, like dotting, rolling out, setting stuff up, not getting out of bounds too early, waiting for it to clear up, get the first down, like them like big plays. And he doing that just like his first year playing, so I could, tell him what he gonna do. So yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So not going back to last year, but I just want to take those moments from New Mexico State and the first time that we got to see you to where you in that Army game. Where has your biggest area of growth been?
I would honestly just think believing in my coaching and just taking what everybody's telling me, and especially like he said, the in-game reps. With time, you get more comfortable. It almost becomes like a tunnel vision in a sense, to where your mind's not going a million miles an hour like, oh, what's going on. You just relax. You just take what Coach Robbins and Coach Lamb have taught me and what they told me and just believe in it, and then I can just go play football. I think that's the thing that Ray was talking about. When you're young, you get all those reps. Everything starts week by week. It starts to just become a little bit slower and a little bit slower. And he talked about playing free. Whenever you can just go play free, we're here for a reason. We can all play football. I think once you get to that point where you feel free and you can just go out there and ball, that's whenever you're at your best. And I think, obviously, I don't think I'm anywhere close to my best by any means, but I'm slowly getting better and better each week.
But to Ray's point of always being cold, I mean, you were that dude in high school too, right? You took a high school team that hadn't had a whole lot of success and were very successful on the run that you were there. Where does your inner belief come from in you?
I think just faith in God, honestly. I just devote everything to Him. Just staying relaxed in those moments, always putting faith in Him. I pray before every game, just tell Him to give me strength, give me guidance, and I kind of just put it all out there for Him.
What about your competitive spirit, though? Because we see it.
Yeah,
We see a little switch that's because you are a different guy now sitting there to where you're just even your demeanor on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like you said, it's like a switch. I don't know. I've had it for a long time. I grew up, my sister's super competitive. I'm super competitive, and whenever it's time to go, it's time to go. Like, I say that prayer, hug my mom. It's kind of a tradition. I get up, I walk back, put my helmet on, and it just switches. And I don't like to lose by any means, and I'm willing to do anything it takes to not lose. I don't care if I'm bloody, banged up, broken bones. I don't care. I want to win. That's pretty much it.
You had a lot of family there after the Army.
A lot of family, yeah.
A ton. So, as special as the moment was in the locker room, how special was the moment to go over after a performance like that?
Yeah, it was awesome. West Point was an incredible place to play. I mean, I don't think I've played at a cooler place, and it's gonna be hard to beat that. And just have my family there to be there for that moment was awesome. They were super, super excited.